but I'm wearing this and I've never ran a marathon ever before. That's crazy. It was good. Well, if you don't know me, I went from inner city of Chicago to my dream school, my dream career, my dream physique. Just want to show you what's possible, and today I want to talk a little bit about drugs and alcohol. My history, or my lack thereof, or with drugs and alcohol. On top of that, I don't have caffeine. I've had caffeine plenty of times in the past, but I try not to. Well, I never have any type of caffeine, energy drinks, soda, coffee, anything like that. And added sugar is probably like once in a blue moon, probably like once a month or so. Or if I'm at a function of some sort, I'll have some. But yeah, I don't do any of that, any drugs, any alcohol, any caffeine, any sugar, any video games, and like other stuff like that. But I still have fun. Crazy enough, I know. I still have a good time, enjoying my life plenty, to an extent where I'm very, very, content and happy with the amount that, I find enjoyment. I think one of the biggest things is that it allows you to experience the true joys of life so much more. I went to a concert for the first time last summer. It was an Ed Sheeran concert. I'm a big fan, Personally, I'm a big fan. It was like literally the most attended event in Soldier Field history in Chicago, which is like crazy. First of all, it was like 70,000 people in there or something like that. So I remember, looking around, because I'm on the floor, I'm pretty close to the stage and stuff. And I'm looking around, I'm like, damn, it's a lot of people in here, Unfortunately, there was a lady who passed out, which was definitely from some sort of intoxication. There are folks hitting vapes and carts and whatever, in the surrounding area. And it looked like they weren't, enjoying it. I'm not here to, judge anybody on what they should enjoy or how they should enjoy something. But, if you need to do that in a concert in which, people are kind of squished up next to each other, it's a very rude thing to do with a lack of, social awareness. And I think if you have the inclination to do that while there's so many folks around you, it kind of shows that you prioritize that over, the respect and courtesy that you show to other people, which, in other words, it means you're hooked on that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I was able to enjoy that so much, and it was such a, I was able to enjoy that so much, and it was such a, there was so much, stimulation from the, but aside from that, I was just able to enjoy the concert so much. The music felt real, and the music felt, but aside from that, I was able to enjoy the concert. The music just felt so real, so many people in there, and it was such a big, moment to take in that, I was really in awe the entire time. And, after, it's still such a fond memory. So one of the best memories that I have in my entire life. That's really where true satisfaction, true fun comes in, just, your ability to be present in that moment. And I think these, substances take away from your presence, and they move your brain to a different place where it shouldn't be. And I prefer to be in a moment or in a scenario in which I have the ability to be fully present and, use all of my brain power to be within whichever situation I'm in, whether it be a conversation with somebody, whether it be class, whether it be the work that I'm doing, whether it be, a big, massive environment like that. It just allows me to be so much more human. Another thing that I've never understood is that you're injuring yourself for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, bro. You really are. You know what I'm saying? There are so many ways, like playing sports, be active. You see me right up, you know what I'm saying? Reality is, all of this is healthy for you, and you still get them level of endorphins. You still get that level of pleasure, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a neuroscientist. It's just a good feeling to play sports, and it's something that's healthy for you. So why not do more of that, you know what I'm saying? Having a conversation and a good laugh with people is healthy for you, and you're not injuring yourself in the process, you know what I'm saying? What that does is it creates a positive feedback loop rather than a negative feedback loop, because reality is we as human beings, we seek pleasure, you know what I'm saying? That's at least my hypothesis. We seek pleasure. So you could seek pleasure through injury, or you could seek pleasure through in ways that really support your health, you know what I'm saying? You could choose a side, and reality is pleasure gonna be cool both ways. Why not choose something that doesn't detract from your goals? Why not choose something that doesn't take time away from you? Why not choose something that doesn't injure you, that doesn't, destroy your neurons, destroy your internal organs, destroy the relationships that you have with others because you're dependent on this substance? It's sad to see, it really is. Another hypothesis that I have, I'm not sure, but if if there happens to be somebody who is very habitual with it, very habitual with these vices, with these substances, reality is you probably running from something because you are not content with the state that your life is in right now. So you have to resort to an external substance to change your perception of the state of life, or to make you forget about the state of life that you're in. So after taking these substances, you can change your mind frame, forget about it, enter a completely new, different world, whatever these drugs do to your brain, you know what I'm saying, just to escape the current situation that you're in. And it makes you grow your disdain for the life that you live currently when you're sober, when you're not under any type of influence. And it's that negative feedback loop that we were talking about previously. And I see this happen a lot, you know what I'm saying? I have so many friends, middle school, high school, you know what I'm saying? Not here, I don't associate with that. But like middle school and high school who couldn't go 15 minutes without, you know what I'm saying, a little stimulation of some sort. That's insane to me, you know what I'm saying? I've seen folks that like completely drop out of school to just because they're like under this influence constantly, and they get caught and they get drug tested and crazy shit happens. I've seen overdoses on the, you know what I'm saying, Chicago Transit Authority. You know what I'm saying? It's a crazy sight, and the reality is, if it's something that's habitual, you are running from something because you're willing to continually change your current perception of your reality and change it to something that is different. And that difference you need and you require essentially in order to feel some sort of pleasure, in order to numb the pain, quote unquote, instead of working on it. The last point I want to bring up is that I believe the only line that exists between consumption of intoxicants is no consumption and consumption. I'm making a hypothetical, that's what I'm doing. It's folks that'll say, oh, I've done weed, but I never do X, Y, Z drug, I don't know, or I drink, but I'll never do none of that. Or, you know, I do this and this, but I would never do that stuff. And they try to create this wall, they try to create this distinction between themselves and the people who do crazy stuff, degenerate stuff, because they don't want to be seen as a degenerate. Because deep down, I feel like every human being knows that this is a bad thing. This is not something that we should be consuming on a daily, regular basis. This is not something that should be a part of our identity. And they try to draw this wall, they try to draw this line, the line of demarcation between, you know, drugs that are sensible or intoxicants that are sensible, opposed to intoxicants that are not sensible and that make you a degenerate, whatever the case may be. And the reality is, a lot of people make their own demarcation. They say this drug is fine, but this drug is not. They say this is fine, but this is not. Some people, you know what I'm saying, do marijuana, but they don't do cigarettes. Some people do cigarettes, they don't do marijuana. Some people just drink. You know what I'm saying? Some people do everything. Some people do some of that stuff at the same time, but they'll always say, oh, I'll never touch that though. Why? Why is it that everybody's line of demarcation is different? Because the reality is, it is impossible for a society to make a clear distinction on some stuff that's okay, quote unquote, which still completely injures you and makes you addicted and, you know, destroys your current perception of reality and makes you escape rather than face something up front. Everybody who takes this will make that line of demarcation somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And they'll say, oh, but that stuff is crazy. Reality is, all of this stuff is crazy. As an outsider looking in, I just see this rat race of different people making different lines of demarcation, making different circles, drawing different walls of what's right and what's wrong, when in reality, it's just a big rat race. You know what I'm saying? Especially as an outsider looking into this whole thing. All y'all are taking something that's detracting from your health, that's making your health worse, that's making your brain worse, that's destroying your neurons, that's destroying your internal organs, that's making the relationships that you should cherish most as a human being, that's making them worse. You know what I'm saying? Because you're chasing this gratification. That's crazy. But yeah, I really wanted to touch on that, of how many people who use certain substances will always draw lines between their substance being okay because they want to justify it. And I find that such a massive level of cognitive dissonance, because reality is, if you make that line to begin with, which everybody does, you know that drugs are bad. You know that they're terrible for you. You know that you're injuring your health. But you just see it as an okay. You just see it as something that's passable. The reality is, it all sucks. Leave this rat race. Leave it. Do something productive with your life. Enjoy life the way it's supposed to be enjoyed.